guys, this is Queenie, and thank you for joining me for another episode of Queenie Unfiltered, where you are sure to be read for filth. However, I promise you will come out clean and pristine. We keep it real, we are honest with ourselves, and most importantly, we practice being beautifully balanced inside and out. Tonight, I have one live in studio guest, the beautiful Geneva Joy of at Geneva Joy, and the owner of Waste Love, Waste Beads, who has sponsored this entire season of Queenie Unfiltered. Okay, come on. Joining me, and I also have a call-in guest. We will be discussing throuples and polyamorous relationships this evening. But before we get to that, of course, y'all know I have to give y'all midweek read. See what's in these cards, what these cosmos be talking like. I think we are halfway through Mercury getting her damn microblade, so that bitch is almost done.
I heard she on Ocean Blade.
I heard she's something. She's something, okay? So we just gonna go ahead and tap into that energy real quick with a really quick reading. Let's see. And y'all know I always do 3 cards. Is my girls out tonight? I had one of my
should have met you
that my titties was distracting. So I've been trying to actively cover them up. You know, and my mom will be reading if you watching this shit. All right. So I have the Wheel of Fortune. I do have the Wheel of Fortune for that in reverse.
Should I be in a white that?
You want to be in a white card? I have the 8 of Coins that I also pulled in reverse. And I have the Page of Pentacles. Ooh. So the energy is definitely awry right now. The energy is definitely everywhere. People are probably feeling like ain't shit going right in your life right now. You know, your money funny. Joe ain't came through with the goddamn student loan forgiveness. Niggas stopped the stimulus checks and shit like that. Pockets ain't getting stimulated no more. Businesses are opening, but they ain't really opening. Outside is still fairly closed, but things are slowly but surely going back to normal. I want to say don't fret. I just want you to say don't fret. If you are having more downtime than usual, particularly as it comes to work or creating or your craft or anything like that, let me tell you something, people, and particularly Black people, rest is reparations, okay? Get your goddamn rest. I'm saying, get your rest. Do not feel bad about not being productive, okay? Get the rest that our ancestors could not get, okay? Do not feel bad about not being productive. When you are well rested and when your spirit is fed, you are able to walk in your divine purpose and things flow. So if things ain't flowing for you, it's probably because you're doing too much, okay? Just slow down. And the Page of Pentacles promises a better tomorrow. Promises that new ideas, new opportunities, new means of employment or just making money will come your way, okay? So do not fret. Everything will be okay, even if it doesn't feel like it right now. And if you have a question that you want me to address, go ahead and click the link or drop it in the comment section under the video, and I will be more than happy to pull for you this evening, okay? So now to get into our hot topic, again, let me introduce the lovely Geneva Joy.
Hey, how are you?
And Mr. J Divine. Are you a fellow New Orleanian?
No, he's actually a fellow Philadelphian.
Oh, you from Philly? So
but
you don't
eat
not pork. Where you live? Wait, I can't hear you. Are you there, Jay?
Yeah.
Hey, how are you?
Doing well. I can't complain.
You are handsome. Are you married?
I am married.
Oh, well, you know, you're still handsome.
Very tall too.
Oh Jesus.
And funny.
And funny? Oh, this like the kryptonite. That's how you got married. You probably got. Oh, never mind. All right, Jay. We brought you guys. I brought you guys here to talk about a very specific topic. I am not going to get overexcited because last episode we almost had an orgy up in this bitch, and I'm not going to risk that again. I'm trying to get sponsors. Okay, I will not be hooking up with Kingsters, but I brought you guys here specifically to talk about the dynamics of being in a throuple or a poly relationship. I think that it's 2021. It's becoming a lot more common. I'm seeing it. It's very visible on like social media and things like that. People are really like repping their poly lifestyles, and it's working. It's working for a lot of couples. So I would like to know firsthand, Mr. J, how'd you get into the poly lifestyle, what your particular dynamic is, and why and how it works for you, or why it works for you.
Let me see. I actually knew I was polyamorous probably in my early 20s. Okay. Of course, I grew up in the Southern Baptist, home, my family, whatever. And so I kind of started to, I can't even really say I was taught monogamy, but that's all I saw, Okay. So no one else really gave me, I never really saw any other love style besides monogamy. So when I did start feeling polyamorous, I didn't know what it was. I didn't know how to go about expressing that to my mates. And so I would try to. I'm sorry?
Let me ask you a question, because you said you didn't know what it was and how to express it to your mates. So did you find yourself in a position where you were practicing infidelity?
No. Ironically, I've never really been a cheater. I can be in monogamous relationships, but I'm polyamorous. And that's the thing that people like. Polyamory for me anyway. I don't know how how other people embrace it, but the people that I know who are truly polyamorous, it isn't about quantity. It's not about how many mates you have at any particular time. It's a knowing that at any given time you can have multiple mates.
Okay.
And so for me, that's what it's about. I've been with one person before. My current wife, when we first got together, it was just the two of us. Okay. So, I informed her that I was polyamorous right out the gate, and I think it was like our first date, our first little cup of coffee or whatever it was. And, she's also polyamorous. So it was almost like, oh, okay, cool. We both had, experience in polyamorous relationships. And I had fully embraced mine by the time I met her. I want to say I didn't embrace mine until I was almost 40, so about 10 years ago. And so
you're over, you're almost 50?
I'll be 50 in November.
Sir, you look goddamn good.
You should see it face.
Oh, Jesus. I think I just got wet.
That's hilarious. So I didn't embrace polyamory until I was almost 40. Fully embrace. I had been in polyamorous relationships prior to that, but I didn't really own it until I was almost 40. And that was after my second marriage failed, where, I just, and it didn't fail because of infidelity or anything like that. Again, I can be with one person. For me, like I said, polyamory is just it's a knowing. It's an internal knowing that at any given time I can take on multiple loves and be okay with that. And that's something that I wasn't okay with until I started to do my research in my late 30s and then really understand what it was that I was feeling, and then found a community of other people who were already openly living it. And it was like, oh, wow, this does exist. And just for years, I never knew it existed. I had kept trying to throw myself into monogamous relationships, but tell my mates that it was okay for them to see other people if they wanted to. And, and then also tell them what I was going through, but not really knowing how to, or even not telling them, and just kind of living this little lie, if you will, because when you're not living your truth, you're living a lie, So a lot of times I wouldn't even mention it to women that I was dating. It was just, I knew that it existed with me, but I just wouldn't even, I would get into these relationships and would never address it. But then at the end, but ultimately I would be only, lying to myself. So yeah, whatever.
I got you. I understand. So right now, I heard you mention that you and your wife are poly. So right now,
Yeah.
do you find yourselves in a dynamic where other people are involved, or?
Yeah, we are parallel poly, meaning that we date separately. She has a mate now. She was seeing a guy for a while, and then they split, and then now she has a girlfriend. And I had a long-term girlfriend. I had a long-time girlfriend, long-term girlfriend, whatever you want to call it. And we were together for about a year and a half, and we split recently. And so. Yeah. So I mean, but we date separately. We don't date together. We don't do the throuple thing. We tried. We had one woman that we both were digging, but she was feeling me way more than my wife. She was bi, but she was also feeling me way more than my wife. And the attention that, my wife didn't, she never really got the attention from her that she felt she needed in order for us to thrive as a throuple.
I got you.
So yeah. So we ended that, and my wife didn't tell me to end it. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't like, oh, well, if we can't all be together, then none of us can be together. She actually encouraged me to still date the woman even after they didn't work out, but it just didn't feel good to me. So I left her alone as well. But,
Well, that's commendable. That's admirable.
Yeah.
Speaking of throuples. Would we like to go into why you're here tonight on this stage? I told Geneva I was doing this episode, and she was like, I'm in a poly relationship, right? And I was like, bitch, are you? Like, is that what you're classifying it? Okay, so tell us about your dynamic.
Okay. You don't care about when I realized, or you gave him like a whole,
okay. Tell us when you realized it, how it came about, the dynamic, Bear in mind, my episodes only be 20 to 25 minutes, so
Well, for me, of course, I grew up with that, wait for Prince Charming and be the bride and all that stuff like that. And my defining moment, actually, I was 17, and I got to go to Cameroon. And when I was in Cameroon, I stayed with a family the husband had 2 wives. And I remember calling home to my mom and saying, oh, yeah, we're here. His big house. All these kids is nice and fun. Goats. Oh, he's got 2 wives. Okay, bye. And mind you, this is like 11 o'clock in Cameroon, which had to be like whatever in the morning in Philadelphia. My mom called the other girls' moms. And this is like they had to go get phone cards. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they had to listen to 1997.
Long distance.
They had to go to the Rite Aid that was still open, get phone cards, scratch the back, and then call back over. And it was like, get our kids out those houses. So, like, we're not thinking much of it. Thank God the people who ran the trip didn't move us out of it. But later on in that trip, I was showing him photos of my family because they had to bring photos. And I said something about, oh, that's not my dad. That's not my real dad. This is my dad. And he was like, what do you mean? And I was like, well, I don't actually know my dad. He's like, what do you mean you don't know him? Is he okay? Did he die? And so I had to explain that me and several of the other girls were there because we got scholarships for being from single mother homes, right? Mm-hmm. To go on this trip. And like kind of where we were from, it's the norm. And so I watched this man that my mom and them are praying to get us out of his house. He's so angry that us girls didn't know our fathers, they had to excuse themselves. So we had a whole conversation about which one we had rather. Now, me and my sister are 2 weeks apart. You know what I'm saying? So, like, as I thought about it,
twins.
Right.
Okay.
As I thought about it just over the years, like, Black America lives in a polyamorous state or a polygamous state where we don't talk about it and we don't hold the men accountable. Mm-hmm. So, like, I realized very early on, especially you dating guys and they got baby moms and stuff, I'm not fitting to fight her. I'm not fitting to have you talk about her or any of that stuff because if things go there with us, then that's my child's sister's brother's mother. So I've always been just very peaceful about it, especially in the early forms of dating. I don't like the pretend like you're not dating other people. I actually think it's weird. Right. And I'm the one that I ask, like, well, who else are you dating? And I've actually broken up with guys because they talk about the other women they're dating in a bad way. And I'm like, if you do it to her, you do it to me. Mm-hmm. So I've more been ushered into it from a community standpoint.
Gotcha.
And then as I've gotten older, like it's kind of always been like open date, and then you pair off. But like I still find people wanting to be other places, and I'm like, I'm cool with it. So it hasn't been until recently I started dating someone who was polyamorous, and at first I thought he was lying. Guys say it now,
right?
But he really is. He's younger than me, but I have so much respect for him because he handles it very well. Like, I don't really believe his girlfriend is as poly as she says she is. I think she thinks she's going to wait him out. But he handles it very well, and I have the utmost respect for him. So, like, I can definitely be in a monogamous relationship, but I like my freedom. I like honesty over everything. Mm-hmm. And I also am a kind of a unique person, and I need my time to myself. So, like, I always joke that I'm a first wife or I'm a third wife. I'm never a second. You know what I'm saying? That second wife is too much of a learning curve.
Right.
But like first and third, by the time you come third, everybody know their position. I get to have my baby, mind my business.
Right.
See him a couple of days a week.
Right.
Like, that's all I want.
So third wife is just another wife at this point. It's
yeah.
Like, okay. No, I get it. No, I think I recently, because I do a lot of introspection and self-reflection. And I had determined that if I were to enter into a polyamorous type of lifestyle, it would have to be with two women. But I'm not lesbian. But I trust women a lot more in these types of situations than I do guys for whatever reason. And maybe that's just some things that I have to unpack. Because, and I mean, as a woman who exclusively dates niggas. You know I say niggas on TV?
I don't.
Males. As a woman that exclusively dates males, like, I found that it's always been that we have an open communication until I find out that it's not as open as I thought it was. And there's always some type of manipulation or predatory behavior behind it. So I said that I could enter into a poly relationship with two women as long as there's male accompaniment.
But you ain't gonna do that with them. Like, why not?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that a lot of misconception in regards to polyamorous relationships is also the physical side, mm-hmm. where you can be in a polyamorous relationship. I mean, I actually have a mate that I've been with, if you will, for several years, and it's platonic. You know what I mean? Like. She's not, I don't even know at this point whether I would even want to, and I think I was telling Geneva about this. I think we were having this conversation a while back. Like I said, we've been together for a while, but it's platonic. You know what I mean? Like we talk all the time. We, she's my muse, if you will, when it comes to writing and we spend a lot of time. There's a piano behind me in case you guys didn't know, but
multi-talented.
We spend a lot of time, playing music, where she'll FaceTime me and we'll sit down and we'll go through chords and stuff. And I'll, she's a singer, so I'll play and she sings, whatever. And again, I have no desire to be with her. So I think that's another, thing to unpack with polyamorous relationships for people who don't know. For people who don't know about polyamory, the first thing they think is it's a big fucking orgy and we all out here just, and it's not that, but yeah. And Geneva said something else, and I can't even remember what she said, but she hit something. She said something, and it made me kind of
community aspect, or the fact that we kind of already live like that without the honesty.
That part, yeah. And I always try to explain to people, like, we, Black people especially, we have this desire, and it's not just polyamory; it's just how we live, where we always want to try to protect the family. We always want to try to save face, if you will, where we know our grandfathers and our fathers were out there. My grandfather, Geneva was saying that she has a sister who is 2 weeks, her junior or whatever. Yeah. My mother has a sister who was born the day after she was.
Oh yeah.
And they met. And they met in the 12th. I mean, they met at 12 years old. They met in the 7th grade at school. And people were going around the school going, oh my gosh, there's a little girl who looks just like you. There's another little girl that looks just like you. And then they brought them together and found out that, my grandfather was, the father to both of them. And so again, and then of course, and the mothers already knew, obviously, you know what I'm saying? So it wasn't a secret. It wasn't a secret to anybody in the family. It's just that there's so many of us that live polyamorously, but, we live it in the shroud of being, project sisters and Papa was a Rolling Stone or whatever that looks like.
Shame.
And I feel dysfunction. Like there you go.
When you put it out there, it makes space for, it's just all love. It's all love. So whenever you give love more energy and light, greatness comes from it. Like I have this one friend, I believe she has,
go ahead. I'm gonna let you.
She has like 20 brothers and sisters, and the moms figured out really early that he wasn't gonna stop. So instead of bickering or separating, like every time a new one came in, they got him in the fold. So like when you meet her brothers and sisters, you would think they all grew up in one household. When she got married and had 20 people in her wedding to accommodate everybody, her dad was right there praying the preacher or whatever. It's because the mothers work together. So not everybody is trying to be on that like village tip, but like none of them feel deprived. Most of the mothers went off and married other people. But like, especially when you start bringing kids in the mix, I think Black America should open up to the idea. But just for what, like, how much love can you can always have more love.
I think both of you have a point, and I think polyamory in its purest, most natural form, without all the duplicity, the maliciousness and salaciousness and things like that,
if it's done
absolutely be beautiful. But I also think that it can be so patriarchal leaning that women won't find a benefit in it. Yeah. Something like, and I'll go back to your statement earlier when you said that, you are in a poly relationship with this guy, but you don't think that his girlfriend is as poly as he is, or she thinks she is. She's just trying to wait him out. In this instance, it's not really benefiting her. She's performing as a poly. She's performing in a poly type of relationship because she wants to please him.
Yeah, but
can I address this real quick?
Yes.
When it's done right, polyamory is, which goes the same way for monogamy. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't knock monogamy. People tend to think that, being polyamorous means that I don't agree with monogamy. And I don't have anything against monogamy. Again, I've been monogamous before. I know what a monogamous relationship looks like. Polyamory, and you said something about it being patriarchal to a certain extent, but that's when you start getting into polygamy and other forms of, I'm talking about polyamory in its purest form, just the love. I'm not talking about marrying, because I only need one wife. My wife is all the wife I need. I'm not looking to have 2 wives or 3 wives or whatever. So I'm talking about multiple loves. So just in multiple loves, that's totally different from, whatever. And then as far as it being patriarchal, whatever, you were talking about the young lady, that's a choice that she made. You know what I'm saying? Like, I give everybody that choice. The minute you meet me, you're going to know 2 things. If you're trying to get at me in that manner, or I'm trying to get at you in that manner, you're going to know 2 things. I'm polyamorous and I'm married. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. From there, you can make your decision as to whether or not you even want to pursue me in that manner. And then we go through the vetting process of finding out where you are with, polyamory in general, whatever. But the first 2 things you're going to know is that I'm married and that I'm polyamorous. And from there, you get to make the choice that you need to make. It's not on me. And I'm not trying to convert anybody.
Right.
My last girlfriend was monogamous, and so, but she signed on for what I had to offer, and I was upfront about it, whatever. And we had a great relationship until we didn't, So, I mean, and I honestly, my wife is the first polyamorous person I've ever dated. Most of the women that I date are monogamous, and that's not by choice. I don't go out seeking monogamous women.
Right.
It's just that they accept
the conditions in which we were raised.
Exactly. And they accept me for what I am, and I accept them for what they are. But I don't, my wife is the first polyamorous woman that I had ever dated in all the years that I had, fully embraced my polyamory. But I just wanted to say that, that's it.
Well, I appreciate that. And I think that this was an amazing conversation. I thank both you, Mr. J, and Geneva for joining me. I think that there's definitely much more to be discussed, and hopefully I can have you guys on at a later date so we can kind of expound upon poly relationships, because I think it's very, very interesting. I can definitely see the emotional and spiritual benefits of polyamory Really and truly. Yeah. I mean, I would even consider myself, and a lot of people find this hard to believe about me, but I operate in monogamous spaces, but I don't care if my partner has sex with other people. Like, and that's just me. Like, as long as you're honest about it, as long as you're not removing anything from this household, as long as, you know, we are in complete accordance and agreement, there's no lies, manipulation going, I think that it's absolutely beautiful. But that's a different topic for a different day. Somebody has been irate in these text messages. I just know.
You're getting compliments, Jay.
I'm going to wrap it up.
Hilarious.
I usually do my check yourself segment, but we ran over on time, so we are not going to do the check yourself segment today.
Oh, she said she
So we're you're supposed to ignore her. We're not going to do our check yourself segment today. I want to thank you guys for joining me. Thank my listeners for tuning in. I will not see you next week, but I will see you for our season finale on the week after next. Is that the 20th? I don't know.
It'll be something.
I think that is the 20th. But I will definitely see you for our season finale the week after next.
Special.
Thank you all for joining me this evening, and you all have a blessed
What you forgot? You forgot.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. Since Geneva has sponsored this entire season of Queenie Unfiltered, we are having a special on her waist beads. I can't see it. We're having a special on her waist beads.
If you go to @WaistLove on Instagram, I am the original. No double dots, no E's, none of that bull. @WaistLove on Instagram. You'll find the link to our website or to book a private appointment. You get 15% off plus free shipping if you use promo code Queenie.
That's love.
I'm going to let that ride for I think I'm going to let it ride for like a week or so. So get it. Promo code Queenie on our website. You can get our website link and all the information if you follow us on Instagram @WaistLove. And you show your beads.
Well, I don't feel like standing up.
It's all right. But I have the best, finest, and most authentic West African waist beads in the entire Gulf South. No one does it better. Come get you some love.
Yes.
Yes. You see how I tied that in?
Yes.
Everybody get yourself.
Good. Oh, my God. Good night, everyone. Good night.
Thank y'all for having me.
We are signing out. Thank you so much.